How did we get to this point, Brandel?
Well, I think it does boil down to just a simple need for a regime that is dependent upon one commodity, oil, and has a particular bent to commit atrocities, wanting to enjoy all the benefits of the West without extending any of the rights of the West to their citizenry. And I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, and particularly their leader, MBS, who has committed and continues to commit numerous atrocities, but wants to hide them. And he looks at golf as a vehicle to do that. It's called sports washing. Simple. He's had success in Formula One. He's had some success in soccer. And I think he looks at golf as it's a lifestyle sport. It's a destination sport. It's got great corporate involvement and interest, and it's a great demographic in the game, and it has a great history of tradition. And he looked at it as a perfect vehicle, I think, to sports wash his atrocities.
Aren't the Saudis an ally of the United States?
Yeah, look, I can understand strategic geopolitical alliances. I mean, the United States allied with Stalin in World War II to defeat Hitler. They allied with Mao after World War II to defeat and separate from Russia. Geopolitical alliances are necessary, but individuals don't need to make any such alliances, that they can take a stand. And in particular, golfers. Golfers are the most independent athletes in the world that I can think of. They're not beholden to play where their team plays. They're not beholden to play where the CEO, in the case of Formula One, says this is where the races are going to be. The very nature of professional golfers is that they're independent contractors, and they are paid lavishly. The top four highest paid athletes of all time, they go Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus. Phil Mickelson, who's been bemoaning the fact that he hasn't been somehow compensated for his worth in the world of sport, is 11th all time. He's ahead of David Beckham and Kobe Bryant. Greg Norman, who has long shuffled off the competitive coil of professional golf, remains the 15th highest paid athlete of all time, ahead of Kevin Durant and Lewis Hamilton. Why is it these athletes are so lavishly paid for a sport that is only marginally watched and only marginally enjoyed and participated in around the world? It's because of the integrity that golf has with it. It's a self-policing sport. It's because of the demographic, and it's because of the longevity. But here comes these athletes who have the independent status and the money and the wealth to be unique in sports and tell MBS and his thugs, we're not going to participate in sports washing your legacy.
But you look at these players, and it feels like everybody does have a price tag, or at least, the Saudis think you might have a price tag. Tiger is at $1 billion, or Jack, whatever he's getting was getting offered. Does Rory have a price tag? He's been saying all the right things. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, I don't know if they do. And it feels like everybody's taken this let's wait and see approach with those who haven't joined yet. But what do you think the grand plan is of this Saudi tour? Next 3 years, 5 years, if you were looking at what this is going to be?
Well, they've been at this for a long time. So they've been researching and trying to cobble together this tour now since 2014. So we're 8 years on. They teed off today. And if you look at the list of 48 players, by my count, there was only 14 that the average golf fan would recognize. Sergio Garcia, Brandon Grace, Dustin Johnson, Graham McDowell, Phil Mickelson, Poulter, Schwartzel, Westwood Keimer. Okay, you add all that up, it's 14 players. Their average world rank is 100th. Their average age is 40. They've combined this year to play in 178 events, and they've had collectively 12 top 10. So under no way, no shape or form, if you're watching this, are you watching the best players in the world. If this were a horse race, it wouldn't be the Kentucky Derby. It would be a $10,000 claiming race. They paid $200 million for Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson is 51 years old. 51. His best golf is so far in his rearview mirror. It'd be like paying $200 million for a 25-year-old Seabiscuit to race in Kentucky Derby. So what is their goal? Their goal was initially, I'm sure, because they thought they could buy the 48 best players in the world. And the 48 best players in the world, average world rank would be 24th. Their average world rank is 100th. So quite clearly, they haven't been successful in buying all these players. Rory McIlroy said, "I can't be bought." Morikawa, Thomas, Spieth, Scheffler, Rahm, they all said, "I can't be bought." How much is too much? Does anybody really need to damage their legacy, damage their history, damage the way they're viewed in the game of golf by not only tarnishing their own legacy, but tarnishing the game of golf? Because if you think about the PGA Tour, Dan, the foundation of the PGA Tour is philanthropy, and they have so many different programs that look after the players, from health benefits to pension fund to safety nets. And they have tours for the beginning of a player's career, the prime of their career, and the end of their career. Now you compare that to LIV Golf. Their foundation is greed and sports washing, and they're buying these players, and they will treat them as a depreciating asset. These players are expendable to them. They will toss them aside when they're no longer of further use. So the goal of LIV Golf is clear and simple. It is very transparent. It is to sports wash a legacy, and to do it with a facade of sport.